because we don't get to that perceived higher level by thinking that we suck or that we're broken, that we need to be fixed. Because if you think like that, you're feeding that dog again. And there will always be something to fix. You will always find something that's just not right. So I had a conversation the other day, and it was really about just like the human condition and how, people can be pretty incompetent in very many different ways. And we all are. Like, we all have our level of being incompetent. We have our strengths and we have our weaknesses. But what happens is when we really focus on the things that we are not good at or that other people aren't good at, we're always going to see that. And we're never going to see the strength of another, and we're never going to see the strength of ourselves, because we're always looking at how everything needs to be fixed and changed and bettered, instead of just thinking, holy crap, you are so good at this, or oh my gosh, I'm so good at this. I'm not good at that, but I'm so good at this. And so we're highlighting these pieces of ourselves that are really allowing us to grow, but not in a way that we're like suppressed. A client like sent something to me the other day, and it was like, I'm just going to like paraphrase, but she was talking about the work that she did with me is exactly this. It's this work that, like, a lot of personal development, self-help, spiritual journeys, it always plays off of like this, like, darker, less than desirable side of us, and how we need to change that to be better. But what really happens is we start to focus on what we want. We start to focus on our strengths. We start to focus on the things that we actually want to cultivate and create. And then it's not that we just all of a sudden get better at something. Sometimes we do, and sometimes it's just irrelevant. What happens is our focus isn't on that, so then we can finally excel. So it's not about changing any part of us. It's about highlighting where we want to grow and what we want to achieve, and how we can do that with our strengths, and not so much focusing on all of the reasons why you can't and all of the weaknesses. And so all of this comes together, because when you start to notice the pattern of just degrading yourself and downgrading what you think, and how, like, you just think that you're just kind of a terrible person right now, when you start to notice that, your life starts to change. When you start to make a different choice, when you start to believe that you actually can, when you shift that perspective and you start to take a different path, that's where your power is. That's where it lies. That's when things really start to pick up, and it feels so good. And that's the work that you're doing right now. That's why you're here.